Hi, long time no see. Um, my name is Denise, aka Sugar and Spice, and I do tarot. Anywho, so I'm trying to continue my series on inner child healing. I definitely did not mean for a whole week to go by before I got to Capricorn, Aquarius, Pisces, but life is such, and the eclipse kind of just beat me up a little bit. Like, she had hands. Both of the eclipse had hands this time around. I'm not gonna say they beat my ass, but they got some fire hits in. Like, they knocked me out a little bit. I still won though. So I'm so sorry, but I'm a human being. The good thing is that inner child healing is timeless. It's something that we can always work on. So use this as kind of a bit of a starting point for your healing, not necessarily as like the end all be all, because there will be more in-depth ones eventually. Anyway, without further ado, I don't want to owe you guys anything, so let's just jump right into it. How can Capricorn placements, or actually let's do Capricorn Sun specifically. How can Capricorn Suns use the energies of the eclipse and recent celestial events to heal their inner child? Oh my god, Capricorns are gonna beat me up for this message. Let's do one more card before I get beat up by the Capricorns here. One more card. Thank you. Oh, two more. Okay, two more cards is fine. Okay, so inner child healing begins with well, obviously it begins with you, Capricorn, but it really begins with unlearning the notion that love is conditional and that you have to work in order to be worthy of it. Love is not something you're supposed to earn. Therefore, it's not something you lose. So Capricorn children, I really feel this starts with the mom. I feel disproportionately Capricorns were kind of given the short end of the stick when it comes to their mom. It seems like half of the Capricorns had an emotionally absent mother, mostly because she was, working to survive and feed you and stuff. And so half of you are like, oh, like, I should be grateful, but like, I still resent her because she wasn't there for me and I had questions that were never addressed. Which is true. You guys are a little emotionally unacknowledged in that sense. And then the other half of the Capricorns are like a little resentful, but more like ashamed for their mom, because their mom had to be so strong that it was like embarrassing, whether it was the relationship with your father, whether it was just the circumstances that your mom had to go through, humiliation just to survive. It seems like the mother is a big figure in the inner child. So depending on how you see her and how you see your mother is essentially what constructed the relationship between you and a version of love that is conditional. Whether you internalized, watching your mom be the strong one, and so now your love is conditional, where you're like, absolutely not, like, you have to earn my respect, or the opposite, where your mother was emotionally absent, and so you strive and you give so much of yourself in order to be worthy of some sort of affection and acceptance, mostly acceptance. So in order to hear your inner child, Capricorn, the highest version of yourself, the highest person you're aspiring to be, has to be a person that doesn't have to work in order to feel that you deserve the gates of heaven. Essentially, you deserve salvation. You deserve all of your desires to be met just because you're here. You're here and you're worthy of respect and you're worthy of affection, and we all want it. We all need it. And, if we didn't need each other, then God would have just made one of us, right? Like, duh. So this highest version of yourself has to stop depending on the conditional attention and respect of the collective. You have to start relying on your accolades and your praise and your work to speak for you, and you have to just start toying around with the idea that maybe you just are worthy of not just surviving, but thriving, just for the simple fact that you're alive. And I know Capricorns are going to kind of beat me up about it, but I really hope that it speaks to you guys and that it kind of offers you a different perspective, because that which you do not earn, you do not lose. And a mother's love, you know, theoretically, is not something earned, therefore not lost. But I know for a fact that the love of God and the divine source, universe, whatever you want to call this energy, this light being, this force that just influence all of our lives, that isn't earned. Therefore, you can't lose it. So be okay with that. Accept that. Know that you have it. You don't run out of it. It is not conditional. No circumstance takes the love of God, the love of self away from you. So it's time to have a conversation with your inner child about the way you internalized the behavioral patterns of your mother and allowed that to dictate how you behave in romantic relationships, in work, and pushing yourself, etc., etc. Let's do Aquarius. I love them. Alrighty. Same question for Aquarius suns. How can Aquarius suns use the energies of the recent eclipses and the celestial events to heal their inner child? Okay, there's a lot of disassociation here from Aquarius suns. It seems like a lot of you resent the vulnerability, powerlessness, and defenselessness of your inner child. And so you kind of just pretend you didn't have a childhood, or it seems like middle school and those formative years are blocked out of your mind. Which, I mean, I get it. Kids can be cruel, it can be traumatic, and I completely understand your need to move away from that in order to build your own identity. But unfortunately, it's becoming an identity of avoidance. Meaning, with the King of Swords making an appearance here, it's really about seeing yourself as you are, not as how you think yourself to be. You're not that weird, and you're not that strange, and you're not completely disassociated from the human experience as much as you want to be. You are also not that problematic. You are not that cruel. It just seems like you're not a lot of things that you think you are, that you've internalized that you are. You're not always going to be combative or fought against or challenged, you know, and not everyone that comes into your life is meant to go away. Some people are going to stay, and I'm getting a sense of fear of abandonment and you cutting people off at the first sign of disinterest, mostly because you're scared that, you know, they're going to leave you first, it seems like. And with the Two of Swords here, again, there's more confusion and just mental anguish of like who you're supposed to be in life. And well, it's no wonder that you lost your internal sense of direction. It's because you totally abandoned your inner child, like your worst fear you're perpetuating. So for Aquarius sons, it's about going back to that inner child, going back to that feeling of powerlessness and feeling like you didn't really have a say in your external circumstances, coming to terms with that, and then asking your inner child, what did you even want to be when you grew up? And then making it your business to deliver on the desires of that inner child. Because with that Two of Swords, I'm really just getting like a loss of direction. Like, you guys know what you don't want, but you don't really 100% know what you do want. So you're stuck in this weird like limbo, this fear of abandonment, where you're like, I don't need anybody. Well then, okay, great, you don't need anybody, but be somebody that everybody needs instead, Aquarius. Be generous, be compassionate, hold space for other people, be a part of the altruism that exists in humanity, of the oneness. You don't always have to disassociate from it, to build an identity. You very much can find your place in the world and enjoy it and still be 100% an individual. It's just that right now your inner child there is no inner child. Like, you grew up very quickly, and so your inner child is just kind of like poof, disappears off into the oblivion. So you have to rebuild that connection, and really see it for what it is. I don't want to say like your inner child is damaged. It's just your inner child is bound and repressed. Like, they're not allowed to really speak themselves freely, even to you. And so if you've been suffering from writer's block, if you're a dancer, even if you're a different tarot reader, all these blockages and false starts recently are because your inner child isn't having an input in the direction in which you go in, which results in Two of Swords energy, which is stagnancy and, not really knowing where to go. So for Aquarius suns, please, please, please have that conversation with your inner child and be like, hi, what do you want? I know it's been a while, but like, tell me, it's totally safe. And hopefully that helps. And I promise you, you will find your sense of direction again when you do. Alrighty, Pisces. Pisces doesn't want to talk because that was a bad shuffle. They were like, blah. All right, let's see that again. Pisces. That was a lot lovelier. That was a lot smoother. One more time. Pisces. Alrighty. For Pisces suns, same questions. How can Pisces suns work with the eclipse energy and celestial events recently to heal their inner child? Give me one more card. Clarify the message for me. Okay, got it. All right. For Pisces suns, mom was kind of a bully, and it's okay to feel that way, and it's okay to it's not okay to resent her, but it's okay to know that you felt bullied and become aware of the ways in which your empathetic or empathy and in the ways in which your imaginative state of awareness wasn't encouraged at home. It was a different time, and I'm not defending mom. I'm just saying it might be worth, now that we're grown, seeing her for the circumstances that she was in. Had mom just taken the time to explain to you and really rationalize, look, mommy can't give you attention right now. Mommy can't look at your drawing right now because mommy is in certain circumstances that she needs to rest. Can we talk about this tomorrow? If mom had just taken the time to explain why she couldn't entertain or acknowledge your emotional needs as a child, you wouldn't have internalized her rejection and her combativeness. It seems like Pisces suns was really triggered. Their sensitivity really triggered their mom's shadow side of impatience, stubbornness, hurry up and grow up already. It's like, I can get back to my own world, or just like, why are you such a wimp? It seems like mom was just about go, 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 and Pisces was just kind of like, well, where are we going? Like, wait, I need more information to make these decisions. And mom was just like, I'm gonna beat you. And Pisces was like, ah. And so there's definitely this fear and almost resentment of authority for people telling you what to feel and what to do, which I do not blame you. That totally sucks. And now that we know where it comes from, yeah. Interestingly though, for Pisces, it seems like no further action is required of you except allowance. It seems like the relationship with your mom is such, I don't want to say detrimental, but such a challenging aspect of your life that Spirit is kind of taking care of this, with the Wheel of Fortune and the moon here. Spirit is going to put your mother in circumstances in which she is a mirror. She's going to look real long and hard at herself, and she's going to be like, oh, what I'm feeling now is definitely how I parented my Pisces sun kid. Wow, revelation. So there are going to be circumstances in which I'm getting big Aries energy. Why do a lot of you have Aries moms? That's so interesting. I mean, I have an Aries mom, so yikes. I understand. But anyway, it seems like you're going to be finding yourself in circumstances in which you actually miss your mom. And that icy demeanor and attitude that you have towards her and her criticisms are actually going to start to dissolve with time. There's no further action, just allow it to happen, and really start looking at the fact that your mom had to be the strong one, and that your mom, if she wasn't kind of the heavy hammer at home, then nothing would ever get done. And how traumatizing that must have been for her to have to carry the home. And perhaps, yeah, your emotional needs didn't add to it, but you actually you shouldn't have felt like a burden to begin with. It just seems like as grown people, you and your mother need to have those conversations, and make space for each other for forgiveness, because mom at the time really was trying her best, and she just allowed frustrations and impatience to kind of get the best of her. And in her eyes, she was doing the best for you because she just wanted you to toughen up and not become a victim of circumstance or a survivalist like her. She wanted more for you. And you, on the other hand, internalized her as this sort of villain, when it's just not true. And these feelings of deficiency and incapacity, not reaching higher because you were told you were good for nothing and stuff like that. No more. All of that is being illuminated, and with time, those feelings of resentment will dissolve, and your mom will be apologetic towards you, and she will apologize. She'll make things right. She'll be like, I had no idea. It was never my intention. And so there's lots of healing going on. You might have to go visit her. If some of you moved far from her, or y'all live far away, it might require an in-person trip. So make that trip if it's in your means to do so, because there is a lot of healing energy that I'm getting here. I'm feeling very warm, very accepting. It's a conversation that needs to be had in person and out loud. So I'm really rooting for you, Pisces. Again, I have an Aries mom, so I'm like, ooh, I know what an adventure that can be. But I love my mom. She's the best person ever, and she taught me how to beat a bitch's ass. So I stand. Now that I'm older, now that I can stand on my own 2 feet, I'm like, you know what, mom, I get you. So hopefully you guys reach that sort of relationship with mom as well. But anyway, so sorry for the delay. I really hope that these short quips are enough to kind of kickstart your healing journey, so that you know how to work with these energies and not against them. Anyway, yeah, book me, schedule a reading. I do Akashic Records, I teach tarot, I do tarot readings, all that good stuff. So hopefully it helps. Bye.